Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. I'm Latoya and welcome to Toy and Stitches. Thank you for joining me today. This video is the first official project of my Get Inspired Maker series. I could work on the name, but it's really not that crucial. So what it is about is me trying new things. I'm going to be trying a lot of things. This first video, I'm crocheting something, but in future videos, I'm going to be sewing, doing some macrame, all kinds of things. And the premise is for me to step outside of my comfort zone as a crafter and learn and grow so that I can be inspired and see how that translates into me designing new and fun crochet items. So in this first video, we're going to kick things off with something that I rarely make. So let's dive in. The first project I'm going to work on for the series is actually a tote bag. I don't make tote bags very often. I've made a couple. I was trying to find all of them, but I couldn't find one. So the one that I couldn't find was one that I had just made up out of my head. I don't know where I put it. And then the other one is this one that was a part of the Hobie advent calendar in December. I will link that in the description so you can find it. The designer was Tony Lipsey from TL Yarn Crafts. I really do love her. So this one was super cute. I don't use them very often because I find them to be very bulky. So they're not easy to carry, like to pack in a bag to use when you need them. So that is why I like this one. It seems a lot smaller and it is collapsible. So you can fold it up into a little daisy. So I'm really excited about that. And the video was actually sent to me by my cousin a couple of days after I had the idea for this series, which I found very serendipitous. So I was like, okay, so this has to be the first project. So for the project, I know as I was watching the video, she used DK weight cotton. I didn't have any DK weight cotton in my stash. So I'm going to end up using worsted weight, which is tricky for me, especially worsted weight cotton. It's very hard on my hands, especially. So I know I'm going to have to take my time with this. And I'm using the only cotton that I like the color of for this bag that I had in my stash was the Lily Sugar and Cream. This one is especially hard on my hands. It is. These two colors are not so bad. I do find with the Lily Sugar and Cream, some of the colors are a lot more stiff than others. These two are not so bad. And couple of my favorite colors, so I did like that. So I'm going to be taking my time with this. I'm going to be using, I know on here it suggests a 5mm hook. I don't want the bag to be too big, so I'm going to go down a half a hook size because I also don't want a smaller hook size. Is just going to make it harder for me to work with, so I'm only going down a half a hook size. So I'm using the Lily Sugar and Cream. My favorite worsted weight cotton, however, is the We Crochet cotton. What did they call it again? I can't remember. I'll also link that in the description. I can't remember the name of the cotton, but it's from We Crochet. And that is my favorite one. When it comes to kitchen cotton and all of those things, it is a lot softer than the Lily Sugar and Cream I have found and a lot easier to work with. So I have my yarn. I'm going to get my hooks and I'm going to start stitching. So the video is by Poke. I don't know how to say it. It's PocoaPoco or something like that. I think is how you say it. I'm going to link it in the description, obviously. So we're going to get started. And this is one of those tutorials where she's not talking. She just puts the instructions on the screen and you just follow along, which I don't mind those. I don't need the talking. When it comes to tutorials like this, all I need is for the instructions to be clearly written so I can easily see it on screen when I pause the video. And then also it needs to be easy to understand. We all know if you're like me and you find crochet patterns a little bit tricky sometimes because it seems like a foreign language that no one understands and it can leave you confused and just like, what am I supposed to do here? As long as I can clearly understand the instructions so I can follow along, I'm okay. I really don't need the talking. But I do find that it helps to really reinforce the written instructions just so you clearly know what you're doing. Only worked the first couple of rounds so far. My fingers already burning just from holding the cotton. I don't know if I'm the only one that really has a difficult time working with cotton. And if you have any tips on making it easier to work with cotton, I would love to hear it because I still haven't found, like, I moisturize my hands. Maybe I know I've seen those like silicone finger things, like finger cuts that people put on. I don't know. If you've ever tried those, let me know. So far, 2 rounds, just standard working in the round, 1 round, and then the second round was a row of increases. So pretty standard so far. I'm excited to see how we start to make the flower. Okay, so our petal is starting to take shape here in round 3. Now, I don't make novelty type things very often, but I did just find this very cute and very interesting. And it's likely something I probably wouldn't have made, wouldn't have really looked for in a sense. So having it sent to me was just sort of, I knew it was like meant to be made by me. And I don't know, I'm excited to see how it turns out. It's not looking too big so far, which is good because obviously what I do want, I want to be able to use it, right? It's nice to make cute things and then be able to use it. So I want to be able to use it. And in order to do that, I'm going to need it to be small enough to put in my bag or just to have when I need it versus a big tote bag that's just kind of hard to carry. Now, I honestly don't mind when tutorials don't have talking in it. However, sometimes I wish they would also put the written instructions into the description because then I have to watch, I can't watch the video and read the instructions at the same time. I have to read the instructions, watch it, and then go back and read the instructions again just to make sure I am doing it correctly. So far, I think I'm getting what she's doing for the petals, but I'm watching it first and then I'll back the video up just so I can try it because I can't try it and watch it at the same time. So I'm just kind of watching right now just to see how she does it and then try to replicate it. If you do watch this tutorial and make it, watch very, very closely. Don't try to do this while she's doing it because this petal, it's not complicated. However, you have to pay close attention to where you're putting your stitches because you're putting stitches around the chain and then in between stitches just to kind of close things up and put it together. So it's very, very crucial to watch it all the way through, then back it up and do it because had I tried to do this while she was doing it, I would have gotten very confused. So I'm going to back the video up now and then make my first petal. I finished my first few rounds and I've finished my first petal. So let me see if I can, probably going to be a bit blurry. Pretty kind, it's unique how she did it. And as I said, like if you're going to be watching it, you have to pay very close attention when you're working like the first couple of petals. Make sure you're paying attention to where you're placing your stitches, which stitches you're placing where and how many of those stitches, because I had to frog it a couple of times and this is only the first petal just because I was working too many double crochets versus half double crochets, all the things. So you just have to pay very close attention when you're working the petal, but I think it's going to be really cute. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to finish working the petals and then I'll come back and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so I've been working for about an hour and a half and I finished one daisy flower. I have to make a second one. So I'm going to go and I'm going to work on the second one and join the bag and do all the things. So far, it's really simple. It's just working the flower is a little bit finicky, and with the type of cotton I'm using, it just takes me some time. But outside of the fact that it's taking me some time, it's not to do with the pattern. It's just me. So I'm gonna work the other flower and then I don't know, maybe go halfway through the bag before I come back. That might take me a couple of days. I don't know. I'm going to have to rest for a little bit. So I'll probably put this down, rest my hands for a little bit, make the other flower, and then see where I go. So I will meet you back once I have gotten my second flower and maybe a bit of the rest of the bag completed. All right. So I know I said I was going to come back before I finish the bag, but I finished the bag. It is so cute. It's so adorable. I love it. And my favorite part is just the little closure that she added with the little leaves and all the things. It's so cute. I do love it. And the reason why I didn't come back, once I finished the petals and started the bag, it was just like the mesh stitch, just fillets, double crochets and chains, and it was going really quickly. And I really just wanted to stop working with the cotton. Like it was getting too much. I wanted the project to be over, not because I didn't like the project. I just didn't like the yarn. But we established that from the beginning, so that's fine. But the bag is really cute. And now I want to go out and get some DK weight yarn so I can make it in the proper weight so it's not as big because it's still fairly sizable. So you just pull it, open the little closure, and then you're going to fold it out. And then you just kind of turn it inside out so your little flowers and stuff get to stay inside the bag as you're putting stuff in. And it really is not that big when it's finished. So it's a decent size. So I do like it. I really do love it. I did learn quite a few things as I was going through this bag. I'm really glad I made it. And now I have this little bit of extra crochet knowledge to take me forward because now I know how to make this cute little pouch. It was easier than I thought, because I really was interested to see how you make sort of the folding aspect of it. But it's just connecting two pieces together and then leaving half of it open so you can tuck it in. And after I made this, then, I saw like ones with granny squares and all sorts of things. So once you understand the concept of how to make it, then it's something you can use in the future. And when I was making the bag, there was a couple of things that she did that I didn't do, but that's just as a personal preference versus anything else. When she was working the mesh stitch, she chained 2 versus a chain 1. And I think if I do it in DK, I may actually chain 2 just to allow for the space between the stitches. But for the worsted weight, I think chaining 1 was more than enough. And then she also worked into her stitches in a way that I hadn't seen before and where I would have wanted to try it. So instead of working under the top 2 loops of the stitch, she kind of went through the very front of the stitch. Once, if you watch the video, just pay close attention to how she works the mesh stitch. I thought it was a very interesting way to work the stitch. And I think that method would work really well if you're working trebles, because I know there's always a lot of space when you work the treble stitch at the top of the stitch. So that might be something. I just didn't want to try that new method on this project with this yarn that was already finicky. It was going to be a little bit too much. But now, as I said, I do have that little bit of knowledge in the bank. So if I need to whip out that little thing in the future, then I can, right? So this is what it's all about. It's just taking something that you wouldn't have done before just to see what it teaches you. And I am glad I did it, because I did learn quite a few things while I was making this. So in summary, I will definitely make this again. As I said, I am going to now go out and see if I can find a nice DK weight cotton yarn that I can use for this, because I wouldn't use worsted again, just because it's going to make it a lot thicker and a lot bigger, which is not what you want. You kind of want the bag to be on the smaller size, just so it's a little bit more portable, going with the compactness. I don't know. You want it to be compact. You want it to be foldable, like you can throw it in your bag, throw it in the car. You want to be able to carry it around versus having something that's really thick and bulky, which is going to make it difficult. This is a great instant gratification project. So if you're in a place where you want to make something, you don't know what you want to make, or you're not feeling inspired, so you need to have something to just make it so it can kind of give you that boost of creative energy to go make something else, this is definitely the project, because you can get it done in one day, which is great. Depending on how fast you crochet, you can probably do it in a couple of hours. I'm not that person, but that's fine. And also, I think this would be a great gift. I think people would love this. And if you are one to do markets, it might be a good market item. I don't do markets, so I can't say for sure if it would sell, but it just seems sort of on trend for a market. You're at the market, buy a market bag. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, that is it for our first project. I loved making it. I'm glad I made it. I want to make it again, which is great. And I'm kind of excited for the next one. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but you will have to come back to see. So if you're not already subscribed to the channel, then make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit the bell so you know when I post another video. And if you are going to make this project, let me know in the comments if you've already made market bags. How do you feel about market bags? All the things. Let's just go down in the comments and have a nice little conversation, get ourselves inspired, and move on to the next. And if you have a project that you would like for me to make, you can also let me know what that is in the description, and I will put it together, because I think this might be a series that will just continue to grow and grow and grow and just continue, because it was fun. I had a lot of fun doing this, because sometimes I don't want to have to think up things to do, and I just love crocheting. So you can send me all the ideas. I'm happy to stitch those and let you know what I think. So thank you for spending some time with me today, and until next time, you take care and bye for now.